All right. What if I told you that 50,000 leads a month could bankrupt your business? In this video, I am going to show you how you can stop spending money on ads or wasting money on ads and fix this first. My name is Gabriel Ryan, and what I'm doing on this channel is just building a 7-figure services empire in public. Over the past 19 years, I've run my own businesses and have helped hundreds of other entrepreneurs who sell services. Currently, we are at $677,000 to date and some change in our current business with monthly recurring revenue just over 35K. All right, let's get into it. It all starts with a company called Pip Lancets. And look, I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus. We've worked with a lot of clients over the years, and I know I've made a lot of mistakes in my business. But the story of Pip Lancets is actually pretty interesting because they came to work with us wanting to increase their traffic, the attention that they're getting from their clients, which they sell to diabetics who need these little Lancets to help test their blood sugar. And over the course of about 9 months, we were able to increase their traffic up to 50,000 a month of the kinds of people that we knew were their ideal client. They were coming to the site looking for things like, can a diabetic eat peanut butter? What can a diabetic eat at Taco Bell? All the kinds of things that their target market was certainly searching. So we knew we had the right people on the page, but here's where the problem came in. The lead flow and revenue was not matching the traffic. And so what ended up happening was that the owner of the company ended up pulling the plug on the traffic, on the campaign that we had run. And as soon as we did that, traffic started declining again. But what happened, and what I'm going to show you in this video, is what could have saved this entire campaign and what we've actually done with some other companies, albeit specifically another client who similar issues, looking to get more traffic to their website. This company, Singing Success, sells a coaching program to vocal artists, has the premier vocal coach here in the Nashville area, home of the music industry. And just like Pip Lancets, Brett, the owner of Singing Success, came to us. Was like, hey, I want more traffic, more eyeballs on my site of musicians who I could coach and could come through my programs. And so we did the exact same thing, but this time we did it a little smarter. We said, okay, well, we know we can get traffic to the site, but you're not going to stick around unless you're getting leads and sales as well. So what do? We did a couple things here. What you'll notice on the homepage of the site, we just added a couple of little entry points to make sure that we could actually take that attention and convert it into leads. It might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many businesses out there selling services. They've got their website up, they've got their billboard out, their shingle out, but they're not making it easier, giving people a compelling reason to actually reach out, which is what we did here with Singing Success. So we created this lead magnet called Buy Trap Offers. The 7 deadly sins guaranteed to destroy your voice, because we know that's exactly the kind of thing that their ideal client would be after. And we didn't just stop there. One, if somebody clicked on this little sticky banner, they would land on this page. And since installing this fly trap offer on this website, the client has generated thousands of leads from the traffic that was already coming to their website. Before they had this lead magnet up, they were collecting the odds and end leads of someone who maybe filled out their chat form or contact form, but otherwise we're missing droves and droves of leads that were passing them by. And then if they don't click on that little sticky banner, we throw a pop-up, a full screen pop-up, and that we know increases conversions because this client has been with us for years and years, and we're continuing to work on their campaigns. And how can this work for, one company can have 50,000 leads of the perfect ideal customer coming right past their business, flowing right by them, and another with actually a fraction of the traffic, still, 10, 20,000 visitors a month, can actually be performing better? Well, it all comes down to this idea of the theory of constraints. I want you to imagine your business like a pipeline, right? So imagine you have this pipeline, and here on the left, you have strangers, people that don't know who you are yet. And well, in order for those strangers to become clients that pay you cash, they have to go through a process. You probably heard the idea of, going through a customer journey, but they have to go through their process of researching, going through your website or talking to someone on your team, getting an estimate, a quote, an evaluation, hopping onto a call, consuming some content, whatever that process looks like. They go through that process, and they start out as strangers, then they become leads, and then they turn into clients and cash. But what we know is that not every person that finds out about you and your business becomes a client that pays cash. What is more accurate, what actually happens is something like this. Like with Pip Lancets, we get 50,000 of the perfect ideal clients showing up on sites. But then because there was no mechanism to actually get people to raise their hand, there wasn't a compelling reason other than just like, hey, buy our product. And yeah, you're going to capture a small percentage, a very small percentage of the attention that you generated, but most of that's going to like leak right out of your business, right out of your funnel from the get-go. And so when that happens, when you have people who are dropping out very early on in the process, they can't continue on through the rest of the process. And then you lose a few more along the way, maybe after you don't have a great nurture campaign, or people get distracted and busy, or maybe you lose out in your sales process. So where you once had all of this potential cash flow, potential revenue, potential clients, it all leaks out along the way, and you're left with a small number of clients, a small amount of cash. And that's why this idea of theory of constraints is so important, which theory of constraints tells us in order to grow your business, you must first identify the constraint. What's the bottleneck? Basically the leak. Where's the leaky bucket syndrome in your business? The biggest leak, closest to the top of the funnel, and let's fix that first. And if we fix that, like we did with Singing Success, then all of a sudden we have more throughput. We have something that looks a little closer to this. And then we find a new constraint, a new leak, a new bottleneck, and we fix that. And we just do this systematically over time until we have a really robust engine that grows the business. Unfortunately, we've kind of already figured this out. What are the systems that need to be in your business? Where are the potential bottlenecks? And really comes down to 5. A lot like the human body is made up of multiple systems. You've got the skeletal system and your cardiovascular system and your nervous system, those kind of things. Your business, and specifically your acquisition system, you might call it marketing and sales, but your acquisition system is made up of a handful of smaller systems. There's 2 major ones. One where we capture attention. How do we actually increase our reach and visibility? And then one where we convert attention. Once we have people's attention, how do we actually hold their attention and convert them into clients and cash? So again, going back to the Pip example, their traffic system was dialed. That was not the issue. And it was their right sale. We don't want to just like kind of keep adding fuel to the fire, because everything is kind of leaking out. It's not making its way all the way to the end of the system. Where the opportunity was the bottleneck in the lead gen system, because the lead gen system is then where we take that attention and actually get people to raise their hand. But even that's not enough. Once we get people to raise their hand, we have to get them in the conversation. And that's what we do with the engagement system. People have objections and disbelief and preconceived notions when they kind of come into our funnel in our business. Now, if they come from a warm referral, that's typically a lot easier to close and sell. If they come from cold traffic, maybe a little bit more difficult. And that's all handled through your nurture system. And then your sales system is just all about your offer and how easy you make it for someone to kind of enroll. And so I've created a tool which you can go through in another video. I shared with you exactly how we do this with our clients. And I want you to be able to do this totally for free in your business as well. It's called the Clarity Compass. And I walk through exactly how to do that in another video. This video, the 7-figure service business. I walk through step by step in a little more detail, all of the components of what makes up the optimal acquisition system using our model. And then we go through a process where we actually identify the constraint within your business so that you can figure out what are your next 2 or 3 big moves. What are the things you can focus on in the next 6 to 8 weeks, starting this week, that will make you more, get you more leads, get you more customers, really so that, a couple of things, you make more money in your business, you can help more people, and ultimately you can buy back your time and get more time. So hopefully this is helpful. Like I said, just recording these videos on the daily because I want to share the best of what's working now, what's not working, and really what's coming next. So if you can identify the constraint in your business, now you can stop wasting money on ads. You can fix this thing first. And if you want to get into the specifics of how to do that, again, go ahead and check out the 7-Figure Service Business where I break it all down.